Proposal to make vaginal hormone replacement therapy, HRT, available over the counter without the need for prescription. HRT is used to treat menopause symptoms and 150,000 women have prescriptions in England. Let's speak to Professor Dame Lesley Regan, Chair of Wellbeing of Women and a gynaecologist as well. Thank you for joining us. I imagine you welcome this, but is there a risk of women self-diagnosing and going to buy this when perhaps they might not need it?
Well, thank you, Tim, for inviting me. I think it's important to understand that the number of menopausal women in this country who've not been able to access help for their symptoms is really very large, and only a small percentage, you mentioned them, about 150,000, have regular access to prescriptions for HRT. So this is not meant to be a sort of a free-for-all for women to dose up whatever they want. They're going to go to a pharmacist, and after a consultation with the pharmacist, if they've got symptoms that might be suitable for this topical vaginal estrogen tablet, then they will be able to access it via the pharmacist.
Historically, there have been reports, I think, in The Lancet just a few years ago about a possible link to breast cancer. Has that been resolved, or are there risks, but the benefits outweigh those risks?
Well, I think there's two answers to that question, Tim. Firstly, the risks of breast cancer are very small and they don't change deaths from breast cancer. But most importantly to emphasise is that this vaginal tablet, which is inserted with a little applicator into the woman's vagina, the vast majority of the benefit from the estrogen is retained within the vagina, on the vaginal skin. So very, very little of it gets absorbed into the blood, and therefore it's a very, very tiny risk.
Forgive me, I'm not an expert on HRT. You obviously are. Are there several types of HRT which won't fall under this over-the-counter prescription?
Yeah. So my understanding is that the MHRA, following the recommendation from the Human Commission on Medicines, have agreed one project is going to be put out, well, we're going to consult the public on the use of one particular product. There are other vaginal estrogen treatments that women can still go to their general practitioner or to a menopause specialist for, or a gynecologist. And there are also many other ways to deliver hormone replacement therapy. You can either give it through the skin, which is in the form of patches that the woman puts on her skin, or a gel that she rubs into the arms, upper arms usually, or she can take tablets. And there's a variety, there's lots of different types, but it's generally thought that the transdermal, across the skin approach, is the one that's least associated with side effects. But this is not what we're talking about here. This is the HRT that the MHRA are consulting on is just an estrogen tablet that's put into the vagina and will work locally on the skin of the vagina. And it's hoped that many women who suffer from very distressing vaginal dryness and atrophy postmenopausally will have enormous benefit from this. It can make the vagina more elastic, less prone to infection and inflammation, and is obviously a great boon to women if they're suffering from these really unpleasant symptoms. And there's a lot of them suffering, I would argue, unnecessarily.
All right. Okay, Dame Lesley Regan, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on BBC News.